What is going on, guys? And we're doing the Beastlord again, checking in on the Beastlord. Truth be told, I just recorded this, but I did not click recording apparently, so I'm going to try to remember what I said, and here we go. So, surprise, we are actually level 16. We were level 15, but I leveled just now when I thought I was recording this episode, or this video. And last you saw me, I was level 7. We were in the Shadeweaver's Thicket, which you can see in the south right here on the map. We are currently in Paludal Caverns, which is the best XP, I believe, in the game. But at the very least, it's the best XP. It's got the highest Zem in all of Luclin, and I believe in the entire game. It might be like tied with Kedge Keep. I don't know. Things have changed, you know what I mean? So it's hard to keep track, but something like that. Definitely up there. Wow, unfortunate that I wasn't recording for some reason. But okay, I'm making sure we're recording now, and we are. Anyways, so what happened? You guys, last you saw me, I was level 7. So I finished the grind. I finished grinding from level 7 up to level 9 in Shadeweaver's Thicket. I then was able to get my first set of spells, my first pet. And I looked up at that time, so I went to town, I got that. I looked it up on PQDI. What level can I get into Paludal Caverns, seeing as it is the best XP? And a bit to my surprise, I could get... I was able to... you were able to get in here at level like 5 to 7, some of the mobs. Down here in the south, there's some really low-level mobs. So you should get in here right away because of the XP bonus. So what I did is I came in here at level 9 with all of my pets and all my spells and my pet and everything. And I popped one of the XP pots. They start you out with 38 now. So I used one of them. And within that 1 hour potion, I got 5 levels in here. Feeling really powerful with my pet. I was killing yellows and stuff. The pet early on is just so good. And furthermore, I stayed in here. I got 5 levels super quick. The potion ran out. I just needed 1 more level to get to 15. So I grinded it out, potionless. And then I went ahead and went back to town, got all my new sets of spells, my new pet. When this time around, you come with the Spirit of Lightning, which is, if you remember from the other Beastlord series, or if you've played a Beastlord yourself, or even grouped with one at this low level, it's absolutely insane. It hits for 65 damage, and it gives them 75 dex or something. So it can just proc like 3 times in a row, and at this level, it just destroys mobs. So he's an absolute beast. He doesn't even need me around. I'm just here. I'm his pet, really. I kind of want to go kill this this red con right here. It's probably not that red. I really don't want to pull like a full tent. I just killed one of these, and it was off camera, and that's unfortunate. I actually got an entire level off record. I thought I was recording, so that's a little bit of a bummer. But here you got Ringo. I remember this guy from back in the day, this being just such a hot spot. It's a beetle here named Ringo, so that's kind of, a little tribute to the Beatles. Ringo was the drummer. And these are like the best camps in the zone. So if you look over on the map at this little waterway on the left here, this is like the northern bandit camp, and then there's a southern one that's right by the Shadow Haven zone out. These are like the most popular camps in the most popular zone in Luclin, basically. I was expressing earlier that I can't believe how this camp is not taken. That's really surprising to me. Now the front one is taken. I saw people there. I mean, we could probably kill Ringo. I wonder if I could pull him out with like a nuke. I wonder if he socials. If he socials, we're going to die. So let's hope he doesn't social. I don't know if he's on bandit faction. Doesn't seem to be. So let's take him out. Oh, definitely isn't, because he ran through the tent. And then you can watch my pet just proc the crap out of this guy. That one right there. And you see every time he does that, it just super fat chunks the mob here. So he's the new hero of this game, and I am his pet, even though he hasn't procced again since then. But he's just still doing significant damage, and then you will see him proc like 2 or 3 times in a row, and it's just stupid. You like that. Like, just absolutely stupid. Just puts him to sleep. So we were able to kill that guy. So let's go around and kill some of these flurg things. Let's get a message there. So these flurg, these a patog flarg fiend, these things, we were killing these. And they were yellow when we were killing them, but we did get our level like I was speaking about. Yeah. So you may hear that. I'm now thinking of how annoying that might be if I get a lot of tells while I am recording. When you hear that cha-ching, that's when somebody sends me a tell. I set that up. But in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have done that now. I could probably just turn it off while I record. Or hopefully I just don't get a lot of tells. But you can see how we just really just meat grind these guys. And this pet just works his way through these things. Oh, we might get 2 ads here if we're not careful. Yep. It should be okay though, because the pet should work his way through this quite quickly. And we do have a fungi staff that we can keep on to help us out here. So we are pretty cheap here in the beginning, and that's why I'm kind of just blowing through the beginning, and I didn't feel the need to, like, you know, I'm going to try to show all the zones and stuff and what we're doing and our path that we're taking, but I can get out of the part where I'm, like, twinked and get it, you know, I'll always be twinked, I suppose, but I can at least get to the part to where it kind of waters itself down and it's not, you know, overly insanely powerful or whatever. I don't know. Now I'm going to forget what I said during this current recording or before, but hopefully I don't repeat myself too much. So this Spirit of Lightning buff that's on my pet is so good. It's a 65 damage buff, proc, 65 damage proc and 75 dex, so your pet just procs it non-stop. 3 times in a row, you see what I mean? 3 times in a row, which is absolutely ridiculous. And they give it to you at level 15. So this is like the ultimate pinnacle of your pet power. And your pet's always pretty powerful. You know, obviously he gains levels as you get a higher level pet. But when you get a higher rank of this proc, it only goes up 10 damage per rank. So in like 6 or 7 levels from now, we'll get a new one. And the new one will go from 65 damage up to 75 damage. So obviously going from 0 damage to 65 damage is a massive difference, right? We're just gods. But the next time we get a new pet, obviously a higher level pet's going to help out tremendously. But the buff only going up 10 damage, eventually that'll catch up. And then the next pet we get and the next buff, it only goes up 10 damage again. So 65 damage at 15 is massive, but 85 damage at like 30, you know, not as crazy, and then it just keeps watering down over time. And the pet that we got was yellow to us at 15. The pet was level 16, so that'll also change. The higher we get, we'll eventually start, you know, getting blue pets. And at some point, I remember on the hardcore Beastlord, I think my pet was green when I got him. So like eventually the gap widens. All right. So we got a yellow here, and so let's just wipe this yellow out. So my plan was to get to level 17, and then I was going to pause the video and finish it at a later point. But I lost all that footage, so because I wasn't recording. So I think that's still going to be the plan. So the first part of this video, instead of being a nice lengthy first part of the video, it's going to be quite short probably. We just need to get to level 17, and unfortunately we're already 16 and 42% in, because at level 17 I do get dual wield. So I want to take a trip back to town and pick up dual wield. What is this? All right. And then we'll get, we'll do the, oh, this guy's fast. We'll do the second part of the video when I have dual wield and I can be utilizing that. We did now get dodge, and we do have meditate now. So that's helping us out a lot. That's really good. We're gonna keep on fungi staff here as we just mow through these things. So when I first entered down here at Shave Weaver's Thicket, we started out at low levels with killing the beetle things that looked like that Ringo guy. So those guys, they start as low as like level 5 to 7, and then they continue to go up, and they can go up to about, I don't know, I was facing some that were at least like 13, 14 or so. But there's also some mushrooms in there. The mushrooms are also low level. I think they're as low as, you know, 7 or so. They're pretty low level. And so we were kind of feasting on those. There are some owlbears back there, but they're kind of a camp. They're really close together, so you're going to pull multiple of them. But I ended up having to train him to the zone. Because there was one that was far enough away not to aggro the rest, but then when he got low on life, he ran into him. So I suddenly had a bunch, and then one was red, and one was yellow, and one was white. And I was fighting a white one. So I suddenly had 4 mobs on me, and I had to run to the zone. But when I zoned back in, I was able to pick a couple of them off. They were like separate, they were walking separately. So you can see that they put this spreading crud on you, and that sucks, and it is a dot. So what you can do is, if you cure disease 3 times, it'll remove it, but they'll just apply it immediately again. So there's no use to me removing it. I'm able to kill these though, because I am using the fungi staff here, which is fighting that dot. Something that's pretty cool, if you're looking at like twink items and stuff like that, you can see how they've basically nerfed some of it here. You can see like increases hit points by 5 at level 0 to 15 at level 20. So by the time you're level 20, you're getting the maximum benefit of 15 hit point. And then it'll tell you here with the Zeal that at level 13, or I mean at level 16, which I am now, I'm getting 13 of the 15 maximum. And then you can also see that with the durations of it as well, how long it lasts. That's something that I brought up in the previous video. I spoke about how I was using the Invis pot and the Sow pot to get through here so I can get to Cat Town and Charval. And I noticed at level 1 when I was trying to run through the cave, each of them only lasted 2 minutes. But so if you click on the potion, well, not that one. If you click on the potions as well, as you can see the same thing about how it gains power as you get higher level. So a little bit of like a twink, little anti-twink situation, which is cool. Now even with our fungal regrowth here, they're taking us down pretty good. So we'll have to do a little bit of a med sesh, which is fine. I think during my med sesh, I can reply to some of the tells that I was getting. Let's see what's up to my cat. I think he's fixing to go out. Yeah, we're getting pretty low there. He was cracking me pretty good. So I think we'll go and we'll sit and med here for a little bit. I'm going to reply to some of these tells. All right. So I saw my cat out, replied to some tells, and now we're doing the heal dance opposed to the candy dance. And we're healing in between ticks here so that we can get back out there. So let's go ahead and get back out there. So let's see, where are we? Let's go this way. See if we can, well, there's places, look at those chain procs, just so ridiculous. So ridiculous. But I was gonna, oh, there's a yellow one that spawned right there. Let's go back and kill him. I wanted to go look for some higher level one. There's some bugs up here in the north. I don't know what level those are. I pass through there with my Necro when I go to Tenebrous Mountains. So yeah, that's the plan. We're gonna bang out level 17 very quickly here. We're only 19% away, and these are giving chunks of XP. It's ridiculous. And then we'll do a pause. I'm gonna run to town, get all of that handled. We'll only be 17. What's my next spell level? It is 19. There's a couple. You can get Serpent Sight and Tiny Companion. Those don't seem too... Ooh. Let's work our way in here. Let's see what that is. Hopefully it's not like a shaman. It's probably like a shaman mushroom. It's gonna be a disaster. But let's go check it out. But our real spell level is at 22, so I probably won't buy spells at 17. I could buy them and throw them in the bank so that we can grab them at some other bank. But I'll take a look and see at what other skills that I might need from my GM, because I think there is something at 20 anyways, so we might just do that at 20 when I go back for that. But the leveling currently is so fast without a potion. With the potion, it was insane. The Zem is so high here, and we're just super powerful right now. So this twinked out Beastlord isn't the only, you know, videos I'll be making. Obviously, we got the Necro and the other stuff going on. But there is something else new that's in the works that I'm not going to spoil. But there is something else that will be coming. So, oh, I guess a social. So just know that. Just know that. Something else is coming. Now it'll come when it can. Whenever there's time for it. But, something is coming. But it's definitely going to be something that's gonna lack consistency. It's just the way it's gonna work, but that's okay. This is gonna ding us for sure. Like, look how much these yellows give in here. So this is 96% we are. And we're gonna ding, and then, well, we only got 1%, so that only gave us 5%. I say only, but yellows were given like 12% a couple levels ago. It was so stupid. It was so dumb. All right, though. So we did get 17, so we got to go back and get dual wield so that we can put this bad boy on. We want to do that right away so we can start leveling up dual wield. At some point, we'll pop a potion. I don't know if we... I should probably do one more potion here in Paludal while the Zem is already so high, just to maximize... You know, just to maximize that. That would be cool. Let's go see what else is... It's just more blues and stuff. So I'll do a little bit of homework. And I'll check into seeing... if there is some other camp I can go to. Like I said, those bandit camps are usually taken. I'm not just going to be able to roll up and start killing bandits on most occasions. That's just not going to fly. They'll usually be taken. Maybe we can get ourselves into a group. I guess that's an option if they have an opening. You can kind of just hang there and pick them off as people come up. You can just form a group. You can see that there are still whites here. Eventually we will move from here. I'm thinking we will go to, shoot, what is it called? I'm gonna have to look because I can't think of it right now. What's it called? The hallway. The Netherbian Lair. Netherbian? The Netherbian Lair. That leads to Maris Saru and Dawnshroud Peaks. Let's check what the Zem is of that, just for fun, while we're here still. We're killing our way towards the Shadeweaver's Thicket so I can go back to town. But let's see here. Let's sort it by Zem. So like I said, this is the #1 on its own with a 213% XP in here, which is a 1.6 Zem. The Akiva Ruins is by itself at 1.4 Zem, which is 186% XP. Still very good, but we're not going to go there. And then you have a whole slew, well, you have a handful at least, of 130s, which is 173%. Those are high-level zones, though, but the Netherbian Lair lands in that 1.3, which there's no shot at us going to Akiva Ruins. So 1.3 is going to be the next best outside of Paludal Caverns. Most of them are high-level zones, like SSRE or Sanctus Saru or Grieg's End. But there are a couple of them that are doable. And like I already mentioned, Netherbian Lair, so we're going to stick to that. So we're going to go to the Netherbian Lair after we're done with Paludal Caverns. That's going to be our next zone that we're going to attack. And so we're going to kill those weird alien dudes that are in there. And then there's some more of these Flurg dudes in there. So we're going to kill a combo of the alien guys and the Flurg dudes. And then from there, this is the plan. This is what's on my mind. We might not stick to it 100%, but this is what I'm looking at. From there, we'll go over to Maris Saru, which probably is terrible. I think it's terrible XP if I remember. Yeah, outside of Vexthal, the highest raid in the game at this point. I mean, it's not in the game until January, but in Luclin, Vexthal is the big bugaboo. Besides that being the lowest in Luclin, Maris Saru does fall in the group that is the lowest. That is a 1.1 Zem, which is 146. So we don't want to go there so much, but we might have to make a pit stop in there for a little bit. We went in there on that Bard video that I put out where we were just kiting. It doesn't matter when you're a Bard, you're killing 12 things at once. The Zem really doesn't matter all that much. So we might make a pit stop in there for a moment. And then from there, we'll definitely go to DSP, Dawnshroud Peaks, and then we'll figure it out. But that's like the near... Oh, shit. That's like the near... God. The guy in front of me, please. The near future plans. There's quite a bit of shit in here. This is actually where I was leveling for a bit. I was the tunnel that leads down here. But all this stuff was like red and yellow, and it was scary. It was white, red, yellow, and white. And there's pats in here as well, and then they'll get you. Like that one. This pat got us. So we just got to navigate ourselves through here. Once we get through this tunnel, everything else is not hostile. But I'll show you guys what I was talking about earlier, where I was leveling off of record. and then I'll be off to town to do all of that, and I will see you momentarily after that. So let's see if we can not aggro that guy. Well, we got him. Now, it's not impressive or anything, but I just thought about it. I'm just going to see when I die first on this guy. So he... Oh, I already died. Never mind. Screw that. I died at level 1 when I was trying to... I was trying to run to the South Corona or the North Corona Scion to get ported here. I forgot about that, and I died there. Died trying to run there. Never mind. I was just going to see how far I can go before I end up getting my first death. So I farmed this tunnel for a bit. There's like 3 mushrooms and a beetle right in here. And this was like nice for me for a bit. None of it's hostile. The mushrooms and the beetles don't seem to social. Wait. I think the beetles do social. A beetle's social, but it was just 1 beetle. But the mushrooms don't seem to social. Mushroom social. We can go take a look at it. It's right here. So this little nook right here is where the owlbear cubs are. And this is, I was kind of thinking, they go up to level 17. So it's this one. Now these guys, they aren't pissed at me. But you can see this is the one that I could pull by myself, you know, without getting aggro, and they were high level. They do have a wide range. They're 13 to 17, and there's 4 of them. Now the respawns over here are insane. The respawns over here are crazy. You kill 2 mobs, and that first one you killed is already up again. So the respawns in here are definitely super like hyper. Maybe we could take that camp, you know, and just kill those 4, and they'll just be respawning on top of us, and then we could step out and med if we need to. That is an option. So then all these mobs here that we're running past, these little tiny green beetles, and we'll see some mushrooms up here in the next room. This is all the stuff that was available to kill at level, like, I guess 5 to 7. I mean, I didn't come in here until 9, but all of this stuff was light blue or dark blue. There was light blues already when I came in here at 9. So I would suggest coming in here like ASAP, as soon as you can handle. But as you can see here, there's like some single pulls. This guy's still light blue though. These guys are green. But there's plenty of single pulls. There's duo pulls. Like I said, these mushrooms don't social, so even though they're standing next to each other, you can just single a mushroom out. These beetles they won't, you know, pull together. But there's a range of mobs. You know, there were light blues and there were reds. So it's all, you might kill a light blue and then it comes back as a red. You know, it's a little wonky, but you got the zone line right here so you can run if you're in danger. But the Zem is so good in here that you just want to be in here as much as you can, really. So I'll go do all of that in town. I'll get my dual wield going, and then we'll continue with the second half, probably back in here. We'll probably finish this video off grinding away in Paludal Caverns. If not, it'll be me going to the next zone. All right, let's pick it back up. We are in the Netherbian Lair. Might have some distractions. I'm actually in Discord, but they went AFK for quite some time, so I don't know. Maybe they'll pop in. Maybe they won't. My cat's also bugging. Anyways, we are in the Netherbian Lair. We are now level 23. We've been jumping up the ranks just so fast. I popped 1 more potion while I was in Paludal Caverns, and I was getting like 550% an hour. It was crazy. I ended up fighting those owlbears, and they're on some sort of hyper spawn. So there was the 3 plus the 4th one in the back. I just left the 4th one there, and I just killed the 3. And as soon as I'd kill the 3rd one, the 1st one would spawn, and it was just a never-ending circle. It was crazy. So being level 3, At level 22, we got a new pet and a new buff. Got the Spirit of the Blizzard. I spent about the last hour. I got these big boy buffs over here. Kura's Focus and Brell's... I have a crap load of life is basically what it is. I spent the last hour standing in the Nexus, hoping somebody would give me KEI or some sort of mono regen. I didn't ask for it. I was just standing around, you know, looking for an MGB or something. And I was just casting my spells, getting my spell casting up, so I got my alteration up pretty good. Let's get in here and start killing, though. So, I'm going to go ahead and turn that down a bit. So, in here in Netherbian Lair, we have a lot of these Netherbian warriors that Swarm Caller's going to call ads. They're like these alien-looking dudes. As you can see, pretty nasty. They got like muscle tissue over their eyes or some crap. So I was working on trying to get a lot of my casting skills up. I dumped a bunch of points in ones that I'm not gonna use, that I'm going to use, but I'm not going to spam. So like the heals, like I know the heal. Here, let's avoid this collar and kill some of the ads first, because he might like yell for ads or something. That's what I'm afraid of. Let's start using our regen here. So you can see we're just in the tunnels here. Now the tunnels on the northwest side right here, those are empty. There's nothing in there. So the tunnels here on the right side are like higher level stuff, and I believe these tunnels here on the left side are like lower level stuff. I am targeted on myself somehow. Perfect. So the stuff on the left is like the fungal dudes that we were killing in Paludal Caverns. The stuff over here on the right are going to be the Netherbian dudes and Trogs as well, so we'll kill some Trogs. What happened to my sound? Well, there we go. I don't know, I think I turned the sound off or something, but it's back on. So since I got dual wield, it has been, well, you don't see me swinging the offhand too much here, but it is in the hundreds. It's up to 119, so, you know, we're using it a lot now. The extra regen probably doesn't look like it's doing anything because we have so much life at this point with these buffs. I guess that's a perk about leveling in Luclin, is that you can, if you wanted to, you can get a lot of buffs. See you later, buddy. And he is out. So we're going to have to take two here. I guess we'll kill the blue one first. Shoot. I'll make sure we're taking the damage so that the pet doesn't get confused on who he should focus down first. Luckily, being a pet class, I can get my other skills up by spamming the dot or the nuke on my pet. It won't land. There was a bard there for a minute who was playing an AoE mana song. That did help a lot. If a bard can just go, hey, bards out there, if you're going to go AFK, he probably got kicked off. I don't know, because he was there for a while. Maybe he got kicked off. But if you can go AFK in the Nexus and just play a regen song, that's super helpful. For a lot of people. I remember back in the day on my old school server of Bertoculus back, you know, and I don't know. Well, it was, at the very least, Luclin was out, so what is that, 2001? We had a bard who had his epic, and, you know, which, I don't know, in my opinion, it meant a lot more back then than it does these days. But, he had his epic, and he was just hanging out there in the tunnel that led to the bazaar in the Nexus. The tunnel that led to the bazaar, so maybe it was 2002 and Plains of Power was out. And he would always just AFK there, and obviously there was no AFK kick timer back then on that server, or on those servers, but he would just sit there playing his AoE regen song, and I don't know. It was just super cool. I was very young back then, and not an adult, at least. I was not an adult, and the game was still so mysterious to me, as I tended to play a lot of melee characters, and so my exploration was limited. I could never invis. I never had run speed buffs. You know, stuff like that. So obviously I got around. I did dungeons. I did some raids. I did like the easy stuff back then, like Nagy and Vox and stuff like that back in the day. But I didn't really raid Velius originally back in the day. I didn't raid Kunark. And then by Luclin and Plains of Power, I started doing more raids during those eras when I got a little bit older. And not to say young people couldn't figure it out. I mean, look at young people nowadays, and the young people who then played World of Warcraft when, you know, when they were like 10 years old and they're raiding in World of Warcraft and stuff like that. I mean, that was a different game, a different time. And by the time World of Warcraft came out, YouTube came out as well alongside it. So just different times, right? I was old enough, but the genre being new and being a very young teenager, I don't know. I just felt like, and then playing melee characters, I just felt like I just couldn't, you know, explore, and it was more, you know, difficult to learn with the websites and stuff that were available to us back then. Oh, nice. Oh, shoot. I don't want to pull that one. If I don't have to. And so, you know, a couple years into the game, me going from, you know, being 14 to 16, or what have you, 13 to 15, those were 2 big years. And even the internet during, you know, from the 90s to the 2000s, the internet kind of came a long way as well, and was able to learn a lot and figure out the genre. You know, this being the first 3D MMO pretty much. My experience before this wasn't any other MMO. This was my first MMO. My experience before this was like Diablo 2 on Battle.net, and, you know, Warcraft 2 on Battle.net, which is not quite, you know, as robust as, say, an MMO. I don't know how I got onto this. Just talking about how cool people looked who were likely adults then, you know. Maybe some of you were already 18 to 25, somewhere in that range, in or around 99 to 2002. If you were already 18, I feel like, you know, I feel like if you were just, instead of being like 10 to 15, if you were like 18 to 25, I don't know, you could just understand things and have a better grasp of things, I feel. And maybe you had experienced, since you were a little older, maybe you had experienced other MMOs already. Like, you know, like for instance, once World of Warcraft came out, you know, by that time I was 18. I was 18 when World of Warcraft came out. And I raided everything. I did everything. I explored everywhere. You know, obviously, and like I said, it's a different game, so it doesn't equal out. But I feel that being older at the launch of World of Warcraft, and then having some prior experience with EverQuest, World of Warcraft was a breeze. And obviously, there's many other reasons for that as well, but I think you get my point. All right, so we're moving in over to the Trog area. You can see that these are Trogs over here. So anyways, in Paludal Caverns, I stayed there until 23, I guess, yeah. And so I went and I did the owlbears for 5 levels. I popped a potion that lasts an hour, and I got 550% XP during that hour. I think towards the end it dropped to about 450, so we'll just say I got like 500 on average. And so, you know, 5 levels again in 1 hour with the XP pot. A little bit surprised. I then went and I got my level 22 spells and stuff. And I went back to Paludal Caverns, and I was like, I should stay here for a bit. So I did ding to level 23 in Paludal Caverns. And the bandit camps are higher, but the back bandit camp actually had a power leveler. So there was like a druid there power leveling somebody. There was like a level... What's going on? Why am I stuck? What's happening? Why am I stuck running? What's going on? Why is my keyboard broken? My keyboard has suddenly turned off. So let me pause the recording and fix this. What's that? Oh, am I back? I'm back. What the fuck was that? Okay, my keyboard disconnected and then reconnected. Odd. Okay. That's like the first time it's ever happened. Crazy. Anyhow. There's a level 60 druid power leveling somebody in the back camp with, you know, there's the typical druid stuff. Buffed him up, gave him thorns. He pulled the entire area and just was killing everything. So, and then the front camp, there was a full group there doing their thing. But I was able to pick off a couple of bandits for a little bit. And then I just moved on my merry way. There was still some dark blue fungal dudes. So I was picking off some fungal dudes. I figure you might as well want to stay there for as long as you can, really. Because even running around just picking off light or dark blues, I was still getting like 250% an hour with no potion. So that was, you know, I mean, that zone is just insane, you guys. Paludal Caverns is just the best XP you're ever going to see in this part of the game. Now, that might be true forever, because when Plains of Power comes out, there's a couple of zones there that have great XP. Their Zem modifiers might even be a little bit higher than that of Paludal Caverns, but when you're in those zones, you're going to be max level and probably grinding AAs. So although the XP modifier is better, you know, you're not going to be getting 5 levels an hour, right? Well, I mean, I don't know. I've been in some wild Plane of Fire groups. Plane of Fire, if you just have an absolute savage beast of a group or like a trio or something, you can probably, I don't know, man. You might be able to get like 3 AA an hour or more. I don't know. I don't want to compare this to, say, like that of a TLP or something. I really don't know. But we'll find out. Find out soon enough here. These guys drop cash, so I should at least, I guess, loot them. So we'll get So at level 30. That'll be great. Even though I have fungus staff buff on most of the time, snaring myself. We could go get boots, but I just don't think it's worth the work and travel. Plus, I'd need somebody's help. And if I just play for a few hours, we'll be level 30 and have So I mean, I don't know. We can go get it ourselves at a future date if we want to. You know, it's nice to have the clicky, especially if you're going back and forth between the staff and not, but I don't know how much it really matters. I don't care as much as others, I think. So right now we're just getting 157% an hour. I say just. That's obviously really good. But it's nowhere near what we were getting in Paludal Caverns. Obviously, it's going to be a combination of us getting a higher level, but then also we're 40% lower than Paludal Caverns. Paludal Caverns was like something like, well, I have it here. Let me just pull it up. Paludal Caverns is 213% XP whereas the place we are now is 173% XP, which is still good. By any means and by any zones outside of, you know, basically any normal zones, average zones, this is really good. But when you're, you know, there's just a little bit of shock when you're coming from the best zone in the game currently, XP-wise, to an average zone. So we got the new pet. The new pet was of level, so the pet's 22 when I was 22. And then we got the new buff, so the proc does 10 more damage, or should do 10 more damage, so it's doing 72 damage on the proc instead of 62. We're gonna need a med up here. Or we'll just toss ourselves some heals. Our mana pool isn't the greatest, but... Jesus. So what I kind of like, well, I do have a bigger heal. So what I like to do is get the sit tick for the mana and the health, and then also just cast the one heal in between. Seems to work the best. Plus we got the staff on simultaneously. But I do have a larger heal. Let's check it out. I did get light healing. So this is something we can check out. It's probably not as efficient as Inner Fire, but it might just save time, you know? Oof. Ugh. What is that? 2%? And the Inner Fire is probably the same, 2%. 1%. Alright, it's shitty either way, I guess. But we're still leveling up Abjuration. The other heal is Alteration. Okay. So we're using Inner Fire, which is Abjuration, as a heal. Which our Abjuration skill is higher. So we're gonna have to use the other crappier heal to level up Alteration. That's probably the specialization that will go, is Alteration. I assume it'll just naturally happen that way. We actually have a dickload of life, and that's actually also why it appears that we're just taking forever to heal, because we're sitting at 1,700 plus hit points with these buffs. I mean, these buffs aren't really that helpful, besides giving us some longevity. This one is very helpful. This one gives us 60 dex, 67 strength, and then also the hit points. I'm just saying max hit points isn't that big of a deal. It just increases the amount of time that we could stay out there. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to heal at some point anyways. Does the MGB hit the pet? No, it doesn't. Alright, well anyways, let's get on with it. I was wondering if the MGB will land on the pet since they're hanging out right there when the MGB goes off, but the answer is no. So this is, I mean, this is it, actually. We can go across the street. At the end, I'll go across the street and just kind of show you the mobs on the other side, but they're lower level, so they're going to be light blue to us, so we don't want to go over there. But you can come here a little earlier than I did. I don't suggest it, because Paludal Caverns is so good. In fact, you could still be in Paludal Caverns right now at my level. You just get yourself into a group, most likely. You're not going to be able to get one of the bandit camps to yourself. But right now, at my level, probably the only camps that are still okay are the bandit camps. So you'd have to get yourself into a bandit camp group and hang out there. But we are at about the point where you know, those mobs are going to start turning light blue as well. So you're gonna end up getting out of there pretty soon, anyways. But I could have stayed there for another level or two and hung out at the bandit camps. Now, if you hang out there as long as you possibly can and then move over, say, to here, which we're obviously one zone away from the Nexus. Everything's really close together. If you do leave Paludal Caverns early because you're just sick of it, you don't like it, whatever reason you've come up with, you can go to this southwestern side, and there are lower level mobs in there that you can handle. I think you can come here your mid to late teens if you stick on that side. But in your late teens to early 20s is when you can start doing this side over here, and that's what we're doing now. But the zone's very simple. Outside of this, you just got some guards, you know, in the hallways. I'm sure you guys have ran through here at this point plenty of times, even if you know you're mostly from the original 2 expansions in vanilla. You've probably, and this is your first time in Luclin, you've probably encountered this zone just in passing, maybe. But the XP is not bad. If I remember correctly, the XP in here was dog shit originally, so they might have messed with the Zem. Not 100% sure. I know that on Quarm they've messed with the Zem quite a bit with different zones, various zones and stuff. I got this feeling like they messed with the Zem here because, I don't know, you guys tell me. I thought I remember it being absolute dog shit back in the day, but maybe I'm imagining it wrong. Now the next zone we might go to, and we probably will, is Marisaru. That zone has dog shit XP, but I don't know the alternatives. We might have to think about it. Like, I'm sure there are a couple of alternatives, and I'll just think about it a little harder than right here, right now on the spot, and I'll see if maybe there's alternatives to Marisaru. But the nice thing about Marisaru is it's right frickin' here. We got 3 zones right here. We've got the zone we're in, then we got Marisaru, and then we got Downshroud Peaks. And it's just really convenient. And we're all right next to the Nexus and the Bazaar. How bizarre. It's pretty nice. So, you know, for convenience-wise, it's really nice. Otherwise, you find yourself running through Paludal Caverns all the way either down to where we were in the Charval, or you go the other direction, you go north, and you end up going out to, what? Shadow something more. I can't think of the name of the zone right now. The other zones are going to be higher level. You know, there's a lot of zones in this expansion. I don't know how many, like probably close to 30 zones in this expansion. But you know, there's only a couple for each kind of level gap, and then there's raids that are going to gobble them up, and then there's, you know, a couple, there's like Shadow Haven and the Nexus, like, you know, neutral zones that are going to gobble up a couple of zones. So when it comes to like very, very newbie zones, you got a couple, and then you got a couple of the low to mid-teens, and then a couple of the, you know, each little bracket you got a couple. We're getting our ass kicked. I'm on the wrong mob. Damn it. I told my pet to fight the dark blue one, and then I fought the yellow one. Just want to get this dark blue one killed ASAP so we can, you know, get one of them off our back. I mean, I could be using dots and other stuff, but right now I just want to save the mana. Fuck. Oh, that's fine. For heals and stuff, I'd rather just use it to heal. My mana regen is absolute trash. I can't wait till like level 40 though. We'll be there sooner than you know. because at level 40 is when our weapons proc. And we'll have a big fat dex buff by then. We already have like a decent amount of dex. So hopefully we start slapping. So we dinged at some point. I wasn't paying attention. We're actually getting 234% an hour, so we've increased that now that we've done more mobs and have more of a sample size. Gotten a couple of yellows in there as well. We are going to have to stop and heal at some point. Probably not in the too distant future. And then at some point, we're going to be out of life and mana. And then we're really going to have to actually take a med sash. But at that point, I'll probably end the video. Because we are already nearing the hour mark. And then it's just going to keep going. Also, there's not a lot of show here. It's all the same stuff. We got our Netherbian dudes, and we've got the Trog dudes, and that is it. This is a tiny zone that most people do not kill in. They just walk through. My nose is itchy. Not looking to Maris Saru though. Not looking forward to Maris Saru though. That's you know. We're going to be a higher level, and the XP is going to go down. Oh, so my buddy's here in Discord, like I mentioned. And so THJ, 1,011 people at 8 p.m. Pacific time. So let me just pause it real quick. Alright, just making sure I got my microphone in my way there. Alright, so I just went ahead and healed up during that AFK session. So, I've been, sorry, I've been talking to people. THJ is down now, officially. I guess that's the latest news, is, you know, a few days ago or whatever, the injunction or whatever happened. And then, oh boy. And then there was like the $1 million bail, and then all of that went through. I guess they paid, and THJ is officially down. The Discord's changed. Yada, yada, yada. So it's been, I don't know, 24 hours solid now since THJ went down. And so some of my friends, you know, speculating, it's not just my friends, but a lot of people are speculating that obviously that server is going to disperse, right? It had a ton of players on that server, and although it was very different than Quarm or any other version of EverQuest, some of the players there came most recently from Quarm. You know, they left Quarm to go there, and beyond that, some players are just going to be looking for a new home, and so what I'm getting at is we might see some of those players come here. And we've already been sitting at the queue, like I had just mentioned, that the queue was 1,000 at 8 p.m. Western, or 1,100. Was it 1,100? The queue is at 1,100 at 8 p.m. Western, which is 11 p.m. on a weekday. Today's a work day. Today's a weekday, work day. And so it's 11 Eastern time, which, you know, most people are Eastern or closer to Eastern than Western. And so 11 p.m. Eastern time, there's 1,100 players on in the middle of the week. So we're actually looking at this weekend. You know, usually you see increased numbers on the weekend. People have more time to play and all of that stuff. So this is going to be the first weekend since THJ went down. A couple of days will pass for people to, you know, think about what they want to do next, and you know, a couple days to get over THJ going down or whatever, and talk with people and everything, and we'll see what the numbers look like. We haven't hit a queue yet, so obviously the cap got set on August 1st for 1200, and that was from Daybreak, and we haven't seen. I'm not running the frickin' staff. We haven't seen the queue yet. I've never seen it. Oftentimes we get to 1150, which is 50 below cap. Oftentimes, I think the highest I've ever seen it was like 1165 or something like that. But I've never seen the queue yet. So it'll be curious to see if this weekend we see a queue. I mean, all we got to do is pick up about 50 people, and we may see the queue. And, at one point, THJ had, what was it, like 4.5K concurrent, not too long ago. And not to say 4.5K or anything near that will come here, but even if 50 to 100 people were to come here concurrently, then, we would see a queue because we do get that close. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully it'll stimulate the economy. Am I right? Those are some people who like to buy stuff, right? So the bazaar has been a little slow lately, if you know what I mean. I'm kidding, kind of, not really. But yeah, I mean, more people will be great for the bazaar. We've been sitting at like 600 plus traders, 15,000 items. 15,000 or 1,500? 1,500 doesn't sound like enough. 15,000, right? Ugh. Those are really different. It's got to be 15K items, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be. Look at that. Woo, doggy. Let's move through there. Not killing that many trogs, to be honest. The trogs are in the south area, and the Netherbian are in the northern area. And we seem to just be going in circles up here, but whatever. A mob's a mob. They're all... Actually, the drones seem to be a little higher. Or not the drones, but the Netherbians do seem to be a tad bit higher. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, he's still running. Oh, no. Oh, no. Alright, well. Who are we killing? Who are we killing? That one? No, this one. Who are we killing, bear? I'm the pet. The bear's the main character here, so I gotta follow what he's doing. See what I mean? He destroyed this guy. Absolutely destroyed that guy. Thanks, buddy. You're the best. I know you can name... am I tripping? No, I'm tripping. I was thinking of maybe Monsters and Memories for a second. Had a thought escape, or come into my brain. Questions before I forget. Anybody know, is there a portal in Charval that ports you to the Nexus? I've seen on PQDI that it says it's a neighboring zone, so I looked into that. And supposedly at some point there is a portal in Charval that'll port you to the Nexus. I need to know about that. Let me know down in the comments. Is there one? And if there is, where is it? Because I got to go there, to buy spells or to use my trainer. I got to go back there. Actually, at 25, I get block or something. I think block. So I want to go back there at 25 to get block, but it would be, really helpful if I could just port back to the Nexus, because running there and back for just one thing is kind of annoying. All right. Let's heal up a bit here. Oops. And what was the other thing? That might have been it, actually. I want to know that. We actually seem to be maintaining. Like, the heals are so crappy. Well, we got the buffs on. The heals are so little. And doing the sit ticks is like just enough to, by the time we need a heal again, we're back up to like 55, 60 mana. So we're in like a perpetual cycle or something. Which is good. That's good news. But let's just kill a few more mobs and then we're going to end this. And the next time you'll see me, we're kind of blazing through, you know, which is good. You're going to blaze through these early levels. And then we'll get to the real meat. Who are you on, dude? Come on now. But I'm gonna chat with my friends and play with them a little bit. So we're just gonna kill a few more mobs and be on our merry way. Next time you see me, we'll likely be in Mara Saru. That is one zone that we've shown already. That was on the Bard, but that was unique in the sense that we were just AoE kiting mobs. We'll have to do a bit of a repeat. I will get in and out of there as fast as possible, though, because I don't really want to be there that much. And then on top of that, like I said, I am going to look into alternatives. I just need to be reminded on what other zones are around that level. Because I can't remember that well. Yeah, see? Because a lot of the zones are going to be up in the 30s, but we're not quite in the 30s, obviously. And then once I feel like we have a good spot, which I don't know, I don't know. It's hard for me to decide where to pop a potion, you know what I mean? Obviously, we want to use all of our potions, but I want to get maximum use out of said potions. So, once I feel like we got like a really good thing going, pop another potion. This is probably, we probably should have popped a potion here. This is pretty good. The mobs are endless. We're doing pretty well for ourselves. Shoot, I feel like there was something that I wanted to say and I'm just forgetting now. Man, Drone City, right? It's better to be over here anyways. If you go to the south part where the trogs are, there's like this howling wind that doesn't stop. So I'm glad actually that we're spending most of our time up here and we're not really hearing that howling wind. I think it's actually when you get closer to the hallway. Because we all know how annoying that is. I remember once I did a video in Iceclad, was it? Yeah. And there was a storm that lasted like, God, I don't know, it lasted like 2 hours. And I was trying to make a video, and it's just howling and howling, and I was just like, dude, like, I only have so much time to play. Like, when is it going to stop howling? Now, I think you can remove those sounds, if I remember correctly. I think I did it, like, when the server first came out once, where you go into the INI file and you, like, remove something. But then it takes everything away. It's like, it takes away, like, the waves, the wind, like, a lot of the weather stuff. Which, you know, I try to avoid doing a lot of that, but it's definitely not nice for making videos. Here's another thing, is the Luclin music. There's an issue with it. Now, I don't know if this has been fixed yet, but as of, like, Sendrith's last video or whatever, it wasn't fixed. So let me know. But if you have the music on, it just gets louder and louder and louder. It's like max volume. And then you turn the volume down. And then once it repeats the song, it goes to max volume again. And so you have to turn it down every time the song goes on a loop. Not gonna happen, man. So I've just had my volume off the entirety of the last 6-7 weeks. Almost 2 months, actually. So I would like, you know, to be able to use the music. I'd like to be able to hear the music. I like Luclin music. It's really good. But I haven't been able to do that, so hopefully that gets fixed at some point. Maybe it's fixed by now, but the last I remember, it's not. So I think what I'm going to do is just push to get my level. I've been watching the XP. It's flying. We're sticking over 200 for the most part, so should just be a few more mobs. We'll get the ding. We'll be level 25. I got to make my trip back to Charval. I need to get, I believe it's block. And then we get new spells at level 30. So we're only going to be 25. So we'll be 5 levels away from our new spells. But level 30 is pretty good. I remember on our hardcore Beastlord, rip. I got him in front of me here. We're going to get the new pet, of course, with the new pet proc, with the new pet heal. That trio is always good. We're going to get some cool stuff like turtle skin, which will be a nice AC buff. Spirit strike, so we can get a nuke. I think Spirit strike is actually a nuke I wasn't able to get on the other Beastlord because you have to buy it in Luclin. And so we were doing the pre-Luclin Beastlord and we couldn't get that spell. If I'm remembering correctly. But we do get Spirit of Wolf, which is massive. And then we get a See Invis and a Strength buff. Strength buff will be cool, mostly for, I guess, the pet. I have one now. But we've just been so powerful that I haven't wanted to keep it up. Although maybe I should. Where'd that yellow go? Let's get him. See if we can get it sticking on. Actually, I have a new dot. Oh man, I almost forgot. I did forget. We actually do have a new dot. I need to get my spell casting skill up to 2 though. There's no way we're gonna be able to cast. I think Tainted Breath is it? I think. There's no way we're gonna be able to cast that. So that's what I'm gonna work on after this video. I'm gonna run to Charval. I'm gonna get my skill. I may buy my spells, throw them in the bank so that I can pull them out here. And I'm gonna go back to the Nexus. And while I talk with my friends and we decide if we're gonna play or not or whatever, I'm going to just sit there and spam spells. I gotta get my all of them up, everything. So that's going to take a lot of time, and hopefully I'll get some mono regen while I'm there so that I can do it more quickly. Alright, this one might level us. We do have Drowsy now, so that's something I didn't talk about. We do I can't even cast Drowsy though, so we do have Drowsy. Which is like a 25% slow, I believe. But we can start pulling mobs with Drowsy, and then that'll just, you know, make us that much better. And take that much less damage and just keep the machine going. Did my pet... Yeah, my pet's not even proccing, and we're still feeling powerful. I let the pet buff fall off. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! What we need is a snare. I gotta get, come on, dog. Man. Hopefully we don't get interrupted. Ogre power. Didn't work. We're out of mana. Fuck. Alright, well, we're doing it. No lube. Let's go. Let's get our regen on. So we got the ding. Oh, this is brutal. Never let your pet's buff wear out, but I was too busy talking and looking at stuff and all of that. Got stunned. So after we kill this, we'll run out to the hall real quick. I'm just going to take a gander across the street. You can see the fungoids. I don't know. And I'll just end the video while I'm running there. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's supposed to be a Monsters and Memories flash stress test before the end of the month. So by the time you're seeing this, it's at least the 25th of September. And there's supposed to be one by the 30th. So any day now, maybe it's this weekend, maybe this coming weekend, and maybe that'll be the deciding factor on us not getting a queue on this server, because there'll be as many people as coming from, say, THJ, people will be going to do the stress test. Maybe. I don't know. That'd be hilarious. Anyways, these are all dark blues, man. I'm a lying sack of shit. I came over here earlier and everything was light blue. That was like 2 levels ago when I first got here. Crazy. 2 levels ago, I walked in this cave and everything was light blue. Well, there you have it. Good thing we came over here to check it out. I'm a lying sack of shit. There are lower level stuff. If you look on PQDI, you can come in here in your mid-teens, and you can stay here. I mean, stuff's still dark blue, and I am level 25. So maybe your late teens to mid-20s. I'll probably stay in here until stuff light blues out, because I want to go to Mara Saru. I don't know. I don't want to go there is really what it is. Anyways, I will see you in the next video.